Hi everybody. Yeah, I let my son drive the car the other day, and something happened. He smashed out the grill in the front of the car. I took this to Maaco, and they wanted $1,300 to fix this. Of course, they had some really high-priced parts, but still $1,300 to fix this. And the heck with that, I'm going to do it myself. I did a quick Google search for Ford parts, and I found the grill. Now, I've already replaced, this is left over. You can see how it's scratched. The emblem is scratched there. But I could have bought a new emblem for I think $17. At least that's what Maaco had for an estimate on the emblem. But I reused the old one, even though it's a little bit scratched. This whole grill, unbelievable. Take a guess on this grill. $27 for a new grill. And then they have a thing called the header panel, and it's the whole front of the car. And this is $120 some odd. And then I found a place online that had my exact paint coat. This is Dupli-Color paint, and I've got the exact paint coat for my car color. I got some clear coat that's going to go over top of it, and I got some primer. You can get primer in a lot of different colors. I chose black because I want to paint, this white piece of plastic black so that it doesn't, so you don't see a bunch of white back behind there, behind the areas that I don't paint the body color. Okay, we'll start by washing off. It was kind of dirty. And then I'm going to take some 800 grit wet dry paper and gently sand the areas that are going to be needing painting. Okay, it's really important that you get the painted surface absolutely perfect, because any little imperfection is going to show up. Now, I kind of gave this thing an 800 coat grit wet sand and dried it off so you can see it. And take a look at this. During shipping, when Auto Warehouse, I guess, had this thing in storage, a big old scratch up here. So, you can see it here on the camera, and I can, if you can feel it with your finger, then it's going to show up during the final painting. So everything else looks good, but I sanded it all around the edges, knocked off all the molding edges around all the corners. Made sure that those are smooth and rounded, and I'm going to spend a little bit extra time wet sanding this little scratch here to get it absolutely perfect, and then I'll be ready to prime this whole thing. Okay. Here we are. I primered it, and on this area right here that's going to be exposed with the body color paint, I gave it two nice good coats, and kind of look at it, see if you can kind of catch how the light shines off that thing. I don't know, it's hard to tell what the camera's seeing here right now, but it really looks good. It really looks good. There's that one area where that scratch was. I'm pointing right at it. You can hardly even see it. But I think I'll give this a good, nice little wipe down, then take a look at it, because there's a little bit of a powdery coating from the spray paint. And if it's looks good, I'm just going to put the body color paint on there. And if not, I'll give it a little bit of a wet sanding, and then maybe a little bit more primer. So we'll see here. I think it's going to look good though. Okay, I wiped it off. I buffed it up really nice with a light, soft cotton cloth, and buffed it up. And man, you cannot even see that area where it had the little bit of a scratch. Well, I wish they'd packed this thing better. I got this from Auto Parts Warehouse, and came in a huge box, but this thing sat around the warehouse. They didn't really have it in its own separate container, which would have been nice. But I'm going to give it a little bit more time to dry. It's been maybe about an hour since I painted it. I'm going to give it like another hour to make sure it's fully dry. And I'm going to put the color coat on here. And I bet you it's going to look good. Hold on. This is with the color coat and with the clear coat on there. I ended up using pretty much a full can on there, and you can see some of the imperfections. You can see, but it's really hard. Paint doesn't really cover flaws in the surface, but it still looks awfully good. And the gloss coat really did a nice job. See here, hopefully you can see how nicely it turned out. So I'm pretty happy. Here's the hero of the day. The Dupli-Color. Duplicates original Ford color. And you get it in the actual factory color. So my color was AQ. Arizona Beige AQ. And they claim it's a perfect match. And it does look pretty close. Well, now it's time to remove the old header panel. Of course, the whole front of the car. Remove the headlights. Remove this top thing. And just let me kind of show you on this top thing here. There's 3 bolts. There's this 3 little plastic things here. Plastic thing here, plastic thing here. And basically we just unscrew these things. And then they, oops, well, I wasn't supposed to call it like that, but here we go. We got a 2-piece plastic thing, and it pops out. Now it's time to remove the headlight assemblies. Now, there's 2 little metal tabs right here. There's a metal tab here and metal tab here. You can kind of see how it has some little brass bolts back behind it. And this thing just lifts up. So you just pry it up. Look at that, it just came right up. This one lifts, just comes up. Oops. You take little pieces of metal. And the headlight assembly just comes right out now. Okay, remove the 2 clips and this headlight assembly is loose, but now we have to undo this cord right here. And there's a little metal tab. You press down with it your thumb, and then this thing wiggles out. You grab it, and you wiggle it out. Here's the little plastic tab here. I'm sorry, it wasn't metal, it's plastic. You press this down with your thumb, and there's a little locking knob on the top. I don't know if you can see this little tab. And you push down with, right where my thumb's pushing down, this thing comes out. Okay, I looked around, and it appears as if there's only 8 bolts holding this thing on. Let me show them here. Here's 2 right here for the main part. There's 2 5/16 inch bolts right here. There's a 5/16 inch bolt right here. And you see down there that bolt sticking out? That's a 7/16. So, of course, on the mirror image we have the same thing. We got these 2 right here, this one down in here, and this one up in here. And it looks like those are the only ones, but that's my theory. Let me go test it out, and I'll let you know if there's any more. Update, this bolt I showed you, the 5/16 inch bolt, that goes to the side marker light. So we have to undo the screw here and take this out too. Okay, now that I disconnected the side marker light, I can see there's one more 5/16 inch bolt, and of course there's a corresponding one on the other side. Well, there's one more thing I found we have to do. You see how there's like pins coming out on the side here? This is my new replacement. Well, in order to get this thing out, I'm going to have to move the fender over a little bit. So there's 2 bolts to loosen here, and this bolt right there to loosen there. These all 3 are 5/16, and you loosen those, and then you can move the fender over a little bit to the side to give you just a little bit more clearance. Oh, damn it, this thing is still not coming off. And I'm looking at it, and here's the original one. And you kind of see this huge lip they have below here, and the bumper guard goes above this. So I'm looking at it, and it really looks like I gotta take the bumper guard off. So the bumper guard has a number of bolts along the bottom, and then we have this bolt here, and a little 7/32 inch bolt over here. And then I think there's some clips too. So I'll let you know. Oh, it's starting to turn into a nightmare. Okay, the bumper guard was held on by these 3 little plastic pieces here. These are like one-way, non-reusable plastic things, and we have to buy some new ones, and there's 1 on the bottom. So there's 4 on this side, 4 on that side, and maybe something else. I'll have to take a look because the bumper guard's still not off, but it's a lot closer to being off. Okay, just came back from the local auto parts store, and they have like all these different fasteners, and I picked up some fasteners to replace the ones that I had to destroy taking off the bumper guard. But you know, they're fairly easy to come by, and I guess you're going to need 8. So this is just to let you know it's not the end of the world taking off the bumper guard, although at the time it seems like the end of the world. So now we have to transfer the hardware. So you can see I've got these locking clips. I took those off the old broken one and put them on the new one, and as I recall, the bolt heads came in from the inside, so I've got them mounted that direction. The new grill came with the following hardware. It came with 4 metal clips that go into the bottom tabs of the grill, 5 studs that go in the top, although they don't have the bolts. We're going to have to take the bolts off of the old. And then a big thing of sticky foam rubber tape. As you peel off this yellow and it has sticky foam, and I'll have to figure out where the heck to put that. Now we have to install the studs. You can see here I got a stud fully installed. It just kind of screws in. Here's what it starts off. You just I take the stud, put the bolt on there so I have something to screw on, get it nice and aligned, and then you take the 7/16 inch socket and then tighten it up. And then of course, just barely get it in there. You're not, it's plastic, it's really soft, you don't crank it. Okay, now we're going to install the clips. These are the clips that hold the grill on the bottom. And then we have to very, very gently put it in there, because if you do it too far, it'll just keep on going. That's it. The next step is to put the grill in. And basically I had to very carefully line everything up and then push it in the bottom. And then there's tabs in the bottom that lock in. And then the top, just make sure that the holes go in there. And now I'm going to flip it up and then tighten up the bolts, securing it in along the top. Okay, I was having a lot of trouble moving this fender over to get the new panel in. And I find there's 2 more bolts. You can kind of see how there's a bolt sticking through here. My finger's going up on one, and then my finger's going up on the other. And those are the 2 more of those 5/16 inch bolts. When I undid those, I had a lot more flexibility in moving the fender. Okay, here's the trick to the alignment of the fender. This bolt right here, tight. You have the other 5 bolts loose, the ones that go to the fender loose. And you tighten this baby up nice and tight. Then you tighten up these 2. This one in the front that goes to the fender. Then these 2 that go underneath that go to the fender. And then you tighten them up after you get everything all pulled together and tight. Okay, we got the front thing on here. Everything looks good. Just to give you a good look of what it should look like, just in case you were trying to assemble things and you kind of forget. And now we got to put the bumper guard on. Well, here we are, all finished. Got everything snapped on there and put back and screwed on. And it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's not as good as it was when it came back from the factory. You can see some little imperfections and a little chip. I'm going to get a little touch-up paint, try to get a little chip that I got in there when I was putting this thing together. But the grill doesn't fit as good as the factory one, but let's put it this way. The factory grill is $150. This one's like, you can get them like 27, 37. They have some 57. You go, which one do you buy? I don't know. I bought the $37 one. And then you get the this whole fiberglass piece. It fits pretty well. It wasn't perfect. It's a little scratched up. There's a little bit of a chip missing here. That's the way it came when I bought it, and it sent me a crappy one. But then again, the car's not perfect. It's a pretty old car now, so it sure looks a lot better than it did when it was all smashed up, and I'm pretty happy for $200. For $200, this looks awfully darn nice.